you, Bob. What's up, dude? High and base jump through ice jumps.
Definitely awesome to be in Iceland. All of a sudden.
You know, there you go. We're gonna work on getting this TV fixed in here, but in the meantime, can everyone hear us? Let's see here. Which microphone's working? Does this microphone work? Can everyone hear us on this mic? We getting thumbs up over there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, good, good. All right, guys, so we got a packed house here today, and we got a very, very, very special guest for us. And some of us know this gentleman, and some of us do not. And just to let you know, Mike, our speaker today, Mike, we have brand new promoted essays that literally just got promoted on Monday that are in the call today. Brand new promoted GAs, MGAs, RGAs, all on the call. And so, guys, our guest speaker, if you haven't seen on the screen, and we're going to get you back in the screen over here. But if you haven't seen on the screen is Mike Vasu, okay? Mike Vasu is the SGA out of Texas. And just a little history on Mike. Mike came into the company. I didn't really even, I was going to ask you last night, but I believe he's been with the company for over 15, potentially 16 years now with the company. So how about that, guys? We've got a gentleman who's not only just been here for 16 years, but, you know, to go over his resume would take all morning. So I'll just hit a couple highlights for you. When I came into the business, he was already a top MGA and a top RGA, and someone that I strived to chase. He was the top RGA in the company. He beat me on stage before. If you guys can mute up. He beat me on stage, and he was the guy that I was chasing when I first came into my career. And I got to say that he was actually, you know, competition at one point for us, and me and him were competing, and then all of a sudden became really good friends. I'll tell you what, this gentleman, he obviously came to my wedding. He was at my 30th birthday, man. He surprised me for that thing. And I'll tell you what, this past year, I think I thanked you briefly, but if it wasn't for Mike inviting me to his wedding, him and Daisy's wedding, he just got married this year, guys. If it wasn't for that, me and my wife would have successfully spent an entire year without one single night away from our kids. So thank you for that. If I haven't, thank you for that one, man. But guys, you know, the CEO of our company is Steve Greer, right? So Steve Greer a few years ago got the opportunity. He was the state director in Texas, in Houston, down there, and Austin, and all throughout Texas. And he became the #1 state director in the company. So he had the biggest and baddest and one of the best operations in the company going. And he had the opportunity to go become the CEO. So Steve Greer took that opportunity, and he had a choice of who he wanted to leave his legacy into the hands of. And out of all the people in the company, man, they gave the phone call to obviously Mike Vasu, guys. And Mike has continued to carry the legacy. He's promoted so many people to major home office positions. And he's developed so many great leaders in this company. He was, as soon as he became a state director, he flew right to the stage, and he's been on stage multiple times as an SGA in his very short time. He's been SGA for 5 years, I believe now. And in that time frame, he's graced the stage multiple times. So, you know, one of my best friends, one of my greatest friends in this business, someone that I'm just blessed to say is a friend of mine, man. And if I could just end on this, guys, if I heard someone say, I think it was Simon, guys. I think he said that if you ever heard someone talking bad about Mike Vasu, there's probably something wrong with that person. Okay, just one of the best guys that we can have here today. So thank you, Mike, for taking your time, man, and pouring into us today, guys. So let's welcome Mike Vasu to the phone call, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy, for that introduction. You know, it's nice to hear nice things about you when you're alive. Usually people wait till your funeral to say nice things about you. But, you know, I appreciate all the kind words and everything that you said. And, you know, you guys you already know how blessed you are to be in Tommy's agency. Tommy and I, you know, kind of came up in the business together to some extent because he was one of the pioneers of the Arius agency. And Simon and I are very good friends. And so I met Tommy very early on in his career. And if it wasn't, you know, for people like Tommy was kind of like the main RGA in Simon's deal for a lot of years. You know, probably Simon doesn't do as well. You know, they don't have the footprint that they have today. So, you know, what I always appreciated about Tommy was his ability to keep the business very simple. And, you know, I look at, you know, in such a short period of time to have been able to develop a team of leaders like you guys have, you know, is unbelievable. I mean, it's truly incredible. And it is a testament to his leadership and a testament to the leadership that has decided to follow Tommy. And that's a really good decision that you have all made. So anyway, so I'm excited to spend some time with you. I told Tommy last night that the ADT people, my security system people, are supposed to stop by between 8 and 9 to do some upgrades to my system. So when that happens, you guys will have about a 2-minute intermission where I'll go talk to them, show them where to go, and then I'll be back in. And I want you to know, because we're in Chicago, that I wore my Jordans today just for you guys, just so that I could really kind of connect with you on another level, I guess, through my feet. So anyway, so let me share a little bit about my story with you guys. I always liked it when I understood where someone came from. Like I always like to hear people's story, especially early on in the business. And I think it's important to kind of know a little bit about the person that's spending time with you because we don't know each other that well. Okay, not yet. First of all, is anybody on this call? Anybody going to Cancun next week? Going to convention? Oh wow, yeah. So we're going to be at convention. And so, you know, maybe we might connect there as well. But, you know, so a little bit about me. As Tommy mentioned, I started with the company in January of 2006. I was personally recruited by my best friend, Nick Zangardi. And Nick is still with Saray Smith he's got like, I think he's celebrating this year 17 years with the company in July. And so Nick was doing very well in the business. I was just finishing graduate school. So I thought I was going to go to law school. That was my game plan was I'm going to shoot off to law school. And American Income for me was going to be like an internship. I was going to do it for a few months, get my feet wet in business. See, I grew up in an immigrant family. My parents are from Eastern Europe. You know, so they came here from Romania. And oftentimes people will ask me, Mike, you know, were you born here or were you born there? And I always get to tell them that I'm the best of both worlds. I was made there. I was delivered here. And so, you know, my parents growing up, I mean, when I went to kindergarten, I didn't even speak English. And so, I mean, I knew some words, but I couldn't put a sentence together. Okay. And so growing up in that type of an environment, you know, my parents pretty much gave me 3 career choices that I could pursue. You know, they would tell me, they'd say, Mike, this is the land of opportunity. You can be anything you want to be in the United States. And so they said, and we're cool with it as long as it's a doctor, a lawyer, and if it's not one of those 2, then you could be a disgrace to the family. And so, you know, I thought, well, out of those options, it seemed like lawyer was maybe easier. You know what I mean? Like doctor seemed like that was a lot of science and a lot of math, like chemistry and stuff. And so I thought, you know, I'd rather probably read things and write things. So I'm going to go to law school. So I thought I was going to go to law school. And so I started with the company in January of 2006. 7 months later, I end up getting offered a full scholarship to the only law school I applied to. And I went and explained to my immigrant parents who gave up everything in their life and worked 2 and 3 jobs to put me through college, how I was going to stay at American Income, where you didn't have to go to college in the first place. And I thought my mom was going to kill me. Actually, it was really good growth for my career. At that time, I was living at home. And the reason the growth was so good was that I didn't want to see my parents at all. So I just left really, really early in the morning and I came back really, really late at night because it was easier than having to deal with the nagging, the constant nagging from my parents about how stupid I was to make this decision. But I'm happy to report that now years later, my mom talks about what I do like it was her idea. You know what I mean? So it's funny how things can turn around. And look, you know, I think this too, like sometimes people will be like, oh, people are haters and stuff. No, I think usually what it is that people will reflect their own view, their own kind of context of how they see life, right? So a parent, a friend, loved ones, you know, they may not seem supportive. It's not probably not that they're not supportive. It's probably that they're trying to protect you, and they're trying to protect you because of the way that they see the world, you know. And now I tell my mom all the time, I said, Mom, look, you know, wasn't it so good that I stayed at American Income, because I can afford a way better lawyer than I would have ever become, you know, and I don't have to go to law school at all. So anyway, so, you know, but an interesting thing happened after I decided that I wasn't going to pursue the law school thing. Like I had done pretty well up until that point in time, but I have to tell you that my career like went 10x at that point in time. Why? I burned my bridges. There was no plan B, you know, and plan B has a tendency to distract from plan A. You know, if plan B was any good, it would be called plan A. So, you know, so when American Income became the only plan, you know, my career really took off. I became an MGA in under 11 months in an agency where it's really hard to become an MGA at Ray Smith. I mean, we were talking the other day, Mike Labasi was in town, and I've known Mike since he was about 14 years old. You know, we kind of grew up in the same town. And I told Mike, I said, you know, it's easier to become an SGA at Ray Smith than it is to become an RGA. You know, and that's just really how tough the promotions structure and system was, especially years ago. Now, you know, it's loosened up some of that because of company policy and things like that. But, you know, I became an MGA in under 11 months, and I spent almost 10 years at Ray Smith. Jim and Marcus were my primary main mentors in the business. I started in the business about 5 weeks after Simon did. We came up in the business together. We lived together in crappy hotels in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. I remember some nights we had to have our room moved because of like bugs and cockroaches and stuff. We were like not balling, believe me, we weren't staying at the Ritz-Carlton, but we had dreams that at some point in time, our life would be better. And that's why we did it. And so, you know, my motto, sacrifice creates opportunity. You can buy this head at scogear.com. Okay. I don't do it for the money. We do it because we want to get the message out. But we had dreams and a vision that life would be better, and that American Income could be the vehicle to make that happen. And something inside of you told you the same thing when you sat through the webinar, or, you know, whatever interview process there was. I think Tommy, you know, unfortunately became an SGA like right at the time when COVID hit. And so, you know, when that happens, it's like you got to kind of like recreate a whole different deal. You know, when you're trying to start a deal in the first place. That's one of the things that makes it so impressive what you guys have been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. So, you know, I was blessed to have great leadership. I am not the kind of person that's going to ever tell you like, hey, I'm just natural this or that. I'm not. You know, pretty much everything in my life, I think has come harder for me than most people, you know, to be honest with you. But what I got instilled with from my parents was a great work ethic, integrity, taking your job seriously, being a professional. I never came to American Income and said, oh, you know, I'm a 1099. That means I can do whatever I want. To me, that would have been reckless, because whatever I wanted to do probably wasn't going to make me successful. And so what allowed me to have any success, and it's weird to say that because success is so relative, but what has allowed me to have any success has been because I didn't approach it like I'm doing my own thing. I approached it like I work for Jim and Marcus. I work for Nick Zangardi. Whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do that, you know, pretty much like every other job in America. And so I wasn't really like, didn't have good ideas, or I didn't invent really anything except for sacrifice creates opportunity, which is trademarked, by the way. Anyways, that was my birthday gift from my wife last year. But anyways, you know, I viewed it like, hey, you guys are successful. You know what you're doing. Why would I try to change the formula? So what I've been good at is execution. You know, to me, execution is one of the most important things that you can do. So you're all leaders, and so you all want to build a team. Okay. So I put a note here to myself as I was putting my notes together for today's conversation that I'm having with you. I'm not going to call it a motivational talk. I like doing that. I find it harder to do sitting down on Zoom, you know what I mean, than in front of a room where I can walk around and be more animated. But, you know, why build a team? Okay. One is income. There is no personal producer in this company that makes the money that top producers make. And the ones that are the closest on the personal production side, they are working like 6-7 days a week, day and night for the most part. Okay. It's all on you. Okay. In leadership, you have leadership bonuses. At the MG, RGA level, you have growth bonuses. I mean, all you have to do, every quarter they send out the quarterly growth bonus reports, and you see MGAs getting 60, 70, 80, 100, 110, 120, 130. RGAs getting $130,000 for a quarter in additional bonus money on top of what they're making. They don't give growth bonuses to producers. Okay. Training bonuses, overwrite renewals, on the renewal side, it's a multiplication effect. You can only do so much on your own. But I don't know if you guys know who John D. Rockefeller is. Okay. John D. Rockefeller was a big time oil and gas magnate. He was born in Strongsville, Ohio, actually, believe it or not. That's where he was raised. And John D. Rockefeller started Standard Oil. And in today's dollars, he would be the wealthiest man that has ever lived. In today's money, he's worth about $500 billion. And we talk about millions and billions like it's the same thing, and it's not, because a million seconds is like 11 days and a billion seconds is like 37 years. Okay. So like 500 billion is like 500 times 37 years is like 2000 years of seconds. I mean, it's like how much, you know what I mean? So it's crazy to think about the math. And I like math, and I'm going to get back to talking about math here in a little bit. Although I try to avoid the hard math. We're not doing calculus here, but we can do simple addition and multiplication and figure out that in leadership, you can do a lot better. What John D. Rockefeller said, he said, I'd rather make 1% from the effort of 100 men than 100% off my own effort. I'd rather make 1% from the effort of 100 men than 100% off my own effort. In leadership, you can have a better lifestyle. Okay. You can have a better lifestyle. And what I mean by that is that if I was a personal producer and I had to go out of town on vacation, I either have to give Zoom calls from Cancun or I have to make no money except for my renewals. But I'm going to go to Cancun next week. And, aside from the fact that 20 of my top people are going to be there, it's going to be business as usual. The week after that, I got to go to Ohio. My wife and I just built a second home there. Okay. And I'm going to go to Ohio and we're going to spend time there, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be available to do work. Okay. But the reality is that I don't have to be stuck to a computer for 8 hours every single day doing that level of work. And so for me, it was a better lifestyle. I believe that I could have a better lifestyle in leadership than as a personal producer because it wasn't all on me. And I was 23 when I started with American Income, and I looked around and I'm like, man, these people that are personal producers, like if they get sick, now it's better because on Zoom, I mean, you could be sick. If you have the energy, you could still give presentations. But at that time we were in home and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if you break a leg, what are you going to do? Right? I mean, you get sick, what are you going to do? So I wanted to diversify my risk. I said, I can have a bad week. If I'm one producer, I can have a bad week. But if I got 25 people on my team, 25 people aren't going to have a bad week. Someone's going to write something. Money's coming in somehow. So I think it's a better lifestyle. The fourth thing is impact. Okay. You can only set so many appointments as a producer. But if you had a team of 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, 100 people, and we tend to limit ourselves mentally in this business. I see it at the SAG. Like there's no rule anywhere at American Income that says, oh, you're an SA, you're only allowed to have 3 people on your team or 5 people on your team. You could say, I'm going to have 25 people on my team. I'm going to have 50 people on my team. And guess what? The more people you have, the more money you're going to make. You want to know why American Income had a record year last year? Because we grew our agent count to the highest level that it ever was. Okay. We get in a fight one-on-one. You might be able to beat me, although you'll be really tired. It's hard to throw around 260 pounds. Okay. But I know that you may beat me, but if I go get 5 or 6 of my friends, your ass is getting beat for sure. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of that type of a mentality as you're building a team. So since you guys are all leaders, I'm going to talk to you about the most important thing, the most important activity that you do as a leader. How many of you would like to be an MGA, RGA one day? Okay. You should, because that's where you make the most money. Okay. So you shouldn't want to do the same job and make less money than you could make. Now you got to earn it, because if you don't earn it the right way, when you get to that level, you're not going to know what to do. Okay. So the steps are necessary. The experiences are necessary. The adversity is necessary to overcome. The challenges are necessary to overcome in order to put yourself in a position where you really know how to do the job as you move up the ladder. Make sense? So like everybody tries to shortcut it. They want to get there as quickly as possible. They want the contract grab. The contract doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Percentages, they don't mean anything. Percentages are just a percentage of something. Okay. Like if you said, hey, do you want to be 100% owner of something or a 1% owner? Based on that question, everybody's going to say 100%. But if I give you the option to own 100% of the Mike Vasu agency or 1% of Apple, you're going to make a lot more and have a lot more money if you own 1% of Apple. So a percentage is just a function of something else. Okay. So here's what I realized at American Income that made us different than every other insurance company in the United States of America. When I recruited somebody, I didn't have to convince them to go sell their friends and family. I didn't have to talk them into cold calling. I didn't have to talk them into going door to door, business to business, trying to generate leads, or trying to talk them into, hey, welcome on board. Hey, we're going to need $500-$600 for leads. I didn't have to convince people of that because we had a system where we could give people leads. So I'm asking Nick, I go, okay, so how many people am I allowed to have on my team that get leads? He's like, as many people as you want. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, where do they get the leads from? It's like, that's Jim and Marcus's problem. The more people you bring on board, the more people that you train, the more people we'll give leads to. I go, so we don't have to worry about that we're going to run out. You go, no, they'll figure it out. And so it opened up my eyes and my mind about what a great opportunity we had to attract people to. To me, that's what recruiting is. Recruiting is an activity that you can do. But what I really want to think about as I'm recruiting is, how do I become a magnet for people? How do I become a magnet for people? How do I learn in my daily interactions, okay, to interact with people in a certain way where they're just naturally attracted to me? A lot of my personal recruits guys over the years, and a lot of the personal recruits that I see in the business, in my agency, they may not be the person's friend, but that friend may know someone else that's looking for a better position. That friend may know someone that just graduated college. They may know someone that just got laid off in the oil and gas field and they're looking for a better opportunity. They know someone that's frustrated with their job. Okay. So, you're always marketing yourself. It's the Jay-Z line where he says, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. It's his brand. It's what he does. It's who he is. And if you're serious about growing a big team, you really need to think about that, because when we talk about personal recruiting, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that and the importance of it, but the reality is that you're going to get way more personal recruits if you're a good trainer that cares about their people, that gives them good training, that supports them, that encourages them, that's a good coach. When you create a good environment for people where they love what they do, the recruiting tends to take care of itself because people get excited about it. So understand, if you're a supervising agent, okay, and you're training people, the experience that the people that you train have is going to dictate how motivated they are to personally recruit people. Nothing happens in leadership until somebody is recruited. And that's true in anything. Like, you could be the best jujitsu coach in the United States of America. And that's like the hot thing now, okay, is jujitsu. Everyone's doing jujitsu, right? If you don't have the ability to recruit people to be trained by you, it doesn't matter. You could have all the talent in the world. It just doesn't. You can be the best trainer at American Income. If you have nobody to train, it doesn't matter. So until somebody is recruited, the opportunity to change their life does not happen. It does not exist. That is the very first step. And I'm going to tell you from my standpoint as an SGA and someone that's been in top level leadership, I became an RGA in early 2008. So it's been like, 13 years that I've been an RGA or an SGA. I think that when we talk about people that grow, it is consistent that they're great at recruiting and they focus on it and it's something that's important for them. But the people that grow and they do get recruits, I believe it reflects a belief in themselves. So I, as a leader, I'm like, this person believes in themselves. They believe that if they bring this person on board, they could change their life. That they believe in the team environment that they're in. They believe in the agency. They believe in the company, and they believe in opportunity unlimited, which was Bernard Rappaport's dream. So to me, when you recruit someone, it's not just a recruiting someone and we got a body. Okay. It's like a reflection of your level of belief, and the higher your level of belief, the more success that you're going to have, the higher you can go. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? So it's an evaluation tool to me, where I look at, I'm like, man, this person's bringing in personals all the time. Like, we can't let this guy down because he believes so much in our opportunity. He believes so much in what we're doing as an agency. Does that make sense? So think about how you're evaluated and why that's so important. So I'm going to talk about personal recruiting. Personal recruits write twice as much business. We retain them at twice the rate. So we retain 2 times as many of them. Okay. They're 600% more likely to get promoted into leadership. So if you want to grow, a function of good leadership is not creating followers. A function of good leadership is creating more leaders. So if you want to grow, this is what I always try to explain to my MGAs. And sometimes, I feel like I'm talking to a wall. It's like not that hard. Okay. That every time you can develop a leader, you're creating capacity in your organization. Okay. So like I have a guy, Derek Davenport. Derek's 23 years old. He started with American Income when he was 19 years old. And he's a handful. Okay. But he's a beast. How much of a beast is, let me tell you how much of a beast this guy is. Derek got no-showed by a POS. This is kind of a funny story. I probably shouldn't even tell it to you, but I'm going to anyways, because I'm the SJ, I do whatever I want. So anyway, so he got no-showed by this POS when we were out in the field. This is like a year and a half, 2 years ago. He's like 21 years old. He's rough around the edges. And he sends this woman a text that said something like, hey, you no-showed me, payback is due. Okay. She reports it to the company. He got in huge trouble. He ends up recruiting that woman. She's on his team. Okay. So Derek, what I try to explain to him, he had 3 leaders on his team. We just promoted 3 essays. That pushed up 2 GAs. So he's got 2 GAs. He's got 4 essays now. And I go, dude, now if you train 2 people a month, if each of your managers trains 2 people, you just train 12 people. Before, you would have had to have people training 3 people, multiple people at the same time. So it creates capacity in your organization. Okay. So personal recruits, they're 600% more likely to become leaders. Okay. And, quick show of hands. How many of you are personal recruits? How many of you were personally recruited into the opportunity? Look around. Pretty much your whole leadership team was personal recruits. So vendors, good. RMS, good. Craigslist, good. All these things are good. They're just not great. They're not personal recruits. Okay. The truth is the same in my agency. I was a personal recruit. Lots of people that I've been able to promote over the years, they were personal recruits. Pretty much all my MGAs, I think every single one of my MGAs is a personal recruit. Every single one. Okay. If I think back at the MGAs that MGAs and RGAs that I promoted to SGA, there are 7 of them that are now SGAs with the company in 5 years. I think every one of them except for 1 was a personal recruit. 6 out of 7. Okay. That's like 83%. 83% chance that if you get promoted out of the Vasu agency to be an SGA, you were a personal recruit. Mike Laramie, vice president of quality now with the company. That's Steve Greer's personal recruit. They grew up together. Right. So it's like a tree is known by its fruit. Okay. So the money tree at American Income is filled with personal recruits. So let's talk about personal recruiting. How many of you guys have ever seen Steve Greer's personal recruiting script? Okay. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. Actually, here, I'll just copy it for you because I have it right here in my notes. Very simple. I've never seen one work better than this. And what you're going to see after where it says recruiting script, it says release requirement. I would require every single person that I release to show me that they can demonstrate this script verbatim. because nobody's going to use a tool that they don't know exists, or they don't know how to execute it, or they don't know how to use it. Why? They get a $750 bonus for every person they personally recruit in their first 90 days that writes, the required amount of business. $250 after that. And we make that deal with you over and over again until infinity, forever. Okay. So it's a way for your people that are new to bring in personal recruits, which is another revenue stream for them. We pay them. And this is what I always explain to people is, Matthew, the reason that we do this is because you're way better at identifying the type of person that would be successful here, because you are that person. Make sense? Better than a resume, better than a random job ad, better than any of those things. So you've already made it. So we want more people like you. Does that make sense? This also shows you that you have a belief in yourself, a belief in the company, a belief in the team, a belief in the opportunity, a belief in where we're going as an agency. Does that make sense? So you make money and it looks really good for you. Now, here's an interesting fact. Non-personal recruits, the agent retention is 8%. Okay. So what that means is that you train a non-personal recruit, you've got to this is the averages. Now, of course, you can be a better trainer, but guess what? You can also be worse. Average is in the middle. That means it's as close to the bottom as it is to the top. So on average, our agent retention for non-personals is 8%. That means you got to train 12 people to retain one for a year. Personals are double that. That means you got to train 6 to keep one for a year. Make sense? Now listen to this stat. A personal, any person, whether they're personal or not, if they personally recruit somebody in their first 90 days, our retention of those agents is 50%. You're 7 times more likely to retain someone simply by them recruiting someone and getting a bonus. Now, I don't know how many of you like training people that leave you. I didn't love that. Okay. I didn't love it. Okay. I actually retained every single person I trained my first year. Okay. I became an SA on like April 1st. And from April till December, when I became an MGA, I had no turnover, none. Retained every single person. Okay. But I believed in the opportunity. I was willing to work hard. I cared about my people, and my team was a lot of personal recruits. Okay. That I got to personally recruit people too. So to me, it's important to know that data so that you know where you need to focus your energy, your attention, and your time, and why it's so important that the people you train have a great experience. We want to motivate them. We want to motivate them to want a personal recruit because they love their job, because they love being in that agency, because they see a path for an opportunity for themselves. And I'll tell you something, someone gets 2-3 personal recruits in the pipeline, we're having a conversation about how they can be an SA. Okay. We want them to be able to retain those people and work with those people, because if all of you are personals, you were probably trained, by someone that was already in the business. Nick trained me. And if I could tell you anything about the training that I think a best friend gives another best friend, is that the training sucks. I mean, the training was basically like, here's a phone script, make a phone call. He's like, you're great at this. I'm going to go watch the Browns game. Okay. And then in the field, it was like 2 days of training. And he's like, okay, you're good to go. I'm like, what? I don't even know how to write an application. He goes, you'll figure it out. You're smart. I mean, that was like basically my training. You know why I stayed? Not because of training. I stayed because of my relationship. Relationship is far more important even than the training, but that's a part of the training, developing a relationship. So what I always tell people is they don't have to be a personal recruit when they get in the car, when you start training them on Zoom. Okay. But you can make them a personal afterwards by the relationship that you build with them. You're coming in as a stranger, but by the time we're done with training, we're going to be friends. Okay. Let's stick with the math. Stick with the math. So on average, company average is that you need 25 sets to get one hire. 25, it's about 27. We'll call it 25. Okay. You need to get 4 hires to get 1 code, which is 1 new associate. That means you got to set 100 interviews, 100 to get 1 new associate. It's real simple. The path is math. Okay. The ALP per code, if we take all the production in the company and we divide it by how many codes we had, every year it's between 13 and 14,000 every year. So last year, the company did over 270 million. And this morning I texted Michael Abbasi and I said, how many codes did we have last year? And he said 19,804. Okay. So I took 270 million. Did I say 1,000? 270 million. I divided by 19,804 and I got what? Guess what? 13,633. I don't know why it works. It just always does. It's like 13 to 14,000. And it's not that the codes wrote all the business. It just for some reason works. When we drive the code number, got the tech people here. When we drive the code number, it drives the production. Make sense? So you can pretty much predict what you're going to do based on codes and management count. An average manager in my agency does about 130,000. So that means that if I have 50 managers on my team, we're going to do MGAs, GAs, essays, we're going to do about 6.5 million. Okay. If I have, it's just simple math. If we had 100 managers, we'd do 13 million. Make sense? It just, the math works. So here's the deal. That means, so on average as a company, we average about roughly $80 or so of net ALP per appointment that we set, roughly net, okay, when everything shakes out. But we average $136 of ALP per interview set. You make almost about 70% more production from setting interviews than appointments. And what do people do all day? Got to book more appointments, got to see more appointments. The first thing you should be thinking about as a leader is how do I book as many interviews as I possibly can in the morning? Because that's going to turn into 70% more production in the future than I'm getting from setting one appointment. And yeah, sure, some of you guys are higher and top producers may be 110, 120, 130. So that means that if you want to build a deal doing 10,000 a week, you got to book 73 interviews. If you want to build a deal doing 20,000 a week, you got to book 147. If you want to get a deal doing 50,000 a week, you need 367 interviews. Unless those interviews are personals. Unless those interviews are personals. Okay? Believe it or not, with personals, if you set 10 personals, how many of them do you think are going to show up for the webinar? 6, 7, you can put it in the chat, 6, 7, 8, right? Okay. And by the way, the company data shows it doesn't matter if those personals come from Zoom sits, people that you're sitting down with. It doesn't matter if it's from walks of life. It doesn't matter if they're your best friend. It doesn't matter if they're your mom, your dad. It doesn't matter. Why am I saying that? It's like even the relationship element isn't even the biggest thing. It's the fact that you personally believed enough in the company to bring someone on board significantly increases their chances of making it. So if you had 10 personal set, let's say you had maybe 7 show up for the webinar. Out of those 7, how many of them are going to fill out a survey? 4, 5? How many of them you're going to hire? I'd say at least 2. If you book 10, you're going to have 1 or 2 hires. We'll be conservative. We'll say it's just 1 hire, 10 sets to a hire, because not every personal is going to make it, guys. Not every personal is going to be hired. That's okay. The name of the game is numbers, and the more numbers you have, the better your chances are. But if you have 10 sets, let's say personals to a hire, the hire to code for personals is like 2 to 1. That means every 2 personals we hire, 1 of them will code. Could be even better than that, being conservative. So that means that it's 20 sets to a code instead of 100 sets. Would you rather have 100 sets to get 1 code or 20 sets to get 1 code? The average ALP per personal set, because personals write, remember, twice as much business, is $1,363.30. It's 1,000% more profitable than booking a regular interview, having a vendor book an interview, or an RMS. Important because it creates stability. You can control the set number through RMS, vendors, and that type of thing. Okay, we're going to take a quick 4-minute intermission so I can get this ADT guy where he needs to be, okay? Tommy, do something entertaining. I don't want them asleep when I come back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's on here now. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Need to change this to the one. All right, now there we go. All right, talk now.
What about now? Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I'm very confused. Is this a prank? Okay.
All right, we good? So a personal is 1,000% better results per set. 1,000%. Okay. Can you allow me to share my screen, Tommy, or can someone? There we go. Very, very simple. I like math. It works in any language. Any language. You don't have to speak the language. You just have to know the numbers. Look at this. If you want to build a team doing 10,000 a week with nothing but personals, you need about 7 sets per week. Or you could book 73 sets. It's up to you. If you want to get a team doing 20,000 a week, you got to book 15 personals every single week. Or you can book 147. If you want to get a deal going $100,000 a week, you've got to book 73 personals every single week. Or you can do 734. It's totally up to you. I can show you data week after week after week, 5 years of being an SGA. I can show you our interview set and our production about 6 to 8 weeks later. And it's exact correlation. Okay. So in the time that I've been an SGA, I've averaged a little bit over 100,000 net per week. Okay. And we have averaged about 750, 770 sets. In the fourth quarter of last year, I told my guys, I go, you guys aren't booking enough interviews. We were booking like 500. Okay. And guess what? In first quarter, we only averaged like $90,000 net. It wasn't a good quarter, but it's turning around. Why? Because I know the math. The path is math. Write that down. The path is math. You want to increase your production, you got to increase your appointment set. To increase your appointment set, you need more agents. You can't keep trying to get more power out of the same people, so they're going to get tired of it. Okay. So you're constantly adding bodies, constantly. You're working on with your people. You're increasing their skill set, but everything is driven by recruiting. Okay. Everything, the whole deal. This is why personals are so important. Each interview that you set, you need 10 of them to equal the set of one personal. You guys see the importance of trying to create that culture in your agency? Okay. Really, really important. So the question is, if you could make a lot more money, if you could build renewals faster. By the way, there's no personal producer in this company. I'm 38 years old. And if I were to leave this company right now, my renewals would pay out about $120,000 a month. There ain't no personal producer getting $1.4 million in renewals. And guess what? I haven't updated my e-app in like 6 years. I don't even know how to do it. I have it on my computer. I don't know how to jump on a Zoom and do a presentation. We didn't have impact the last time I was in the field. I had paper leads. So what's better, right? Where are the rewards better? Leadership. So you guys are in a great place. And Tommy, I know in his best years as an RGA, I know he made near or over $1 million. It's a lot of money. $1 million. It's a lot of money. That can afford you really, really nice lifestyle. It's not all about money, but money is important. For us to sit here and argue about like the importance of money and all that, here, you got to figure out how much money you want to make. And are you willing to do the work to get it? I mean, that's the reality. And I've never seen someone that said, I'm so miserable, I'm so upset, I'm so depressed. And I said, oh my gosh, what's wrong? I just have too much money. I've never seen it. Not one time in my whole entire life. Never. So to me, I think people use that as an excuse. Like money's not that important because they don't want to go get it. They don't got the hustle and the heart to go and get it. That's the reality. So why don't people, if they know this, if they know that the deal is leadership, if they know that the opportunity to grow is in leadership, if they know that they can get to a better lifestyle, make more money, impact more lives, impact more families, why don't they do it? I'll tell you why. Because people in today's society, they want it now, right now. They want it now. I'd rather book an appointment right now instead of worrying about having a game plan for recruiting that's going to generate for me wealth in the future. In 1972 or 1973, Stanford University did something called the marshmallow experiment. Is anybody familiar with that experiment? Yes. Okay, Ashley is. Faith is. So I'm going to give you the gist of it. I'm not going to give you the control group. We're not going to get into that. I'm just going to give you the gist of it. Here's the gist. They had kids sit in front of a marshmallow, and they told them that if you wait 10 minutes, we'll give you 2 more marshmallows. You can have 1 now or 3 in 10 minutes. Some of the kids took the 1 marshmallow now, said, hell with it, I'm not waiting. Some of them waited for the 3. Time, they had to wait. So they had to wait more time, but they got a bigger reward. Then they followed these kids all the way into their adult life. The ones that waited for the 3 got better SAT and ACT scores. They got better grades in school, higher GPA. They got better jobs, making more money. They performed better in college. They had a better body mass index. That means they stayed in better shape. Because at the heart of anything that you want to do in life is forming the habits to be that kind of person. So if you form the habit of everything is microwaved in your life, it can be hard to see the vision and the value of prioritizing the recruiting and making sure that's part of your plan and leadership, because it's going to take you 6 to 8 weeks to start to see the results of it. But what I will tell you is, just like those kids in the marshmallow study, if you'd rather have 3 marshmallows instead of 1 marshmallow, then become a talent magnet and grow your organization as big as you possibly can. Be smart, have wisdom in the way that you train and coach, lead people to create that environment for them to be great. Look, this company's changed my life. It's given me the opportunity to dream at a level that I never even thought was possible. Sacrifice creates opportunity. It's not about motivation. It's a reminder. It's a reminder to me that if I'm making a sacrifice right now, it's going to create opportunity for me later. And by the way, opportunity doesn't mean that it's reward. It's just an opportunity to get the reward. But when opportunity and preparation meet, that's how you have success. So for me, it's just give me as much opportunity as I possibly can. And that's what this company is all about. Opportunity unlimited. What a great thing that Bernard said years ago, and what an incredible commitment this company has had to make opportunity unlimited a reality. You have the same opportunity. You guys are so blessed to be in that agency. Just remember that successful people are people who are willing to do the things unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. Okay. And that comes from Albert Gray, Common Denominator of Success. One of the greatest speeches I've ever read on success. It was given in 1940. And it's just as true in 2021 as it was then. So just ask yourself as you do tasks, would a successful person do this? Look, I have people that tell me that I work 12 hours a day. I go, listen, you can be active and at work for 12 hours a day, but you're going to get beat by the person that's doing 5 hours of work they don't necessarily like to do, but they know they need to do in order to be able to achieve the success they want to achieve. Make no mistake about it. American income, the rewards, the money, the recognition, the trips, the conventions, this is all the greatest stuff in the world. But you know what the greatest thing is? The person you have to become to get the money, to get the rewards, to get the trips, to get the conventions. Like Jim Rohn said, when you pour more into yourself than you do into your job, that's when you're going to start to become successful at your job. First things first. First things first. Have a personal development plan. Have a game plan every single morning. Wake up, make your bed, be disciplined. Discipline is only needed to create the habits. Once it's a habit, it no longer requires discipline. Remember that. It's always tough in the beginning, but it only gets better with time. Guys, thank you so much for having me today. I'm happy to take some questions, Tommy, if you want me to. If you guys have any questions for me, I hope you got something out of today's talk. And it's sometimes hard, when you jump into an agency and you don't know everybody, but hopefully, you got something out of what I shared with you guys today. And,
Put the audio on there. You're good. You can hear you. Okay, good. Sorry, guys. We keep having technical difficulties over here. But as you heard, I said wow like 75 times on the echo. Wow, though. Guys, give it up for Mike Vasu. Come on, guys.
Great job, Mike.
And yes, man, if we have any questions, if you guys have some questions that jumped out at you, we have a few minutes probably for, I'd say, a good two solid questions at least. I don't want to obviously keep you, but does anybody have anything on their hearts? We got Reich and Matt Brown here, so looks like we'll go with you guys. So we'll go with that, Reich. All right. Do I go up? Yeah, they good. Say hi to Mike there. This is Reich. So Reich is a GA with us. He came in one of our first hires.
right.
He just worked his butt off, became an SA right off the bat, recruited two of his best friends, and now they're SAs with us, and he's a GA.
Right's doing it right.
One of the hardest working guys we got.
Hey, nice to meet you. I had a quick question. I know you said the average ALP per code at the end of the day is like around 14, 15,000. And it's just how the numbers work out. Is there a specific way that you found that helped boost your ALP per code up? Just based on because you said there's always people who are going to leave, but the people that do stay, like you said, your ALP per code was significantly higher in your first year. What were some of the main factors that you think contributed to the lack of turnover and the high ALP per code for you?
Personal recruiting and my ability to turn a non-personal recruit into a personal recruit through relationship. Relationship is so much more important, especially in a Zoom environment. Look, if you're trying to manage by GroupMe or Slack or whatever it is that you guys use, or you try to, lead a team through Zoom, you can, but you're going to need to create some sort of in-person camaraderie. I don't care if you go to B-dubs once a month and say, hey, once a month or twice a month, we're going to B-dubs and we're going to go grab wings and a beer, watch a game, whatever it may be. Your ability to develop the relationship is important. Why? Because I can't lead you that well if I don't know what your goals are or why you're doing what you're doing or what your purpose is or what your vision is. I can't be a good leader to you if I don't know what you really want in life. And sometimes with people that are younger, as a leader, you've got to help them craft their vision because they really don't have one. And that's okay. You don't need one. You know, I always tell people this, look, if you don't have a vision for where you want to go or an exact purpose, that's okay. But you know what you should do? Don't take away any opportunity from yourself. Put yourself in a position so that when you figure it out, you can make sure that that purpose becomes a reality, that you can serve that purpose. Okay. Does that make sense? So I would say the biggest thing is relationship. And the relationship allowed me, because my people knew my heart. Okay. And I would say as an SGA, my people are the same way. My people, they're my team. But you know, the people on my team, they know my heart. So like I can, like, if you were to read some of the emails or be there for some of the conversations, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like, how can you ever say that to someone? It's like, because I got the relationship with them. When I'm tough on my people, they thank me for it. You know what I'm saying? If you could be a coach, I heard this in an audiobook that I was listening to called The Motivation Myth. It's really good. It's by Jeff Hayden. But in the book, he said like a coach is more interested in things like, you know, motivation and inspiration and emotions and all those things. And that's an important part of our deal. But he said a pro assumes you already have the motivation. Like, so when you get coaching from a professional, they assume you're already motivated. They assume that you have these things already internally. And true motivation comes from success. So I can't motivate someone that isn't seeing progress. Progress is the best feeling in the world for someone that's in a business. Okay. So personal recruiting, relationship, and then sitting down with people, having honest accountability conversations. Remember how I told you I like math? I used to track all my people's numbers, man. So there was no, like, I feel like I'm doing well. I feel like I'm not doing well. It's like, no, this is what you're doing right here. Okay. This is very evaluation friendly. It's math. Okay. So we can all agree on this. This is all, you know, this is what's happening. So let's talk about how to change this to get into the direction we want it to be. You know, and that's just focusing on system.
And we do have one other gentleman here. Have you got time? One other.
I do ADTs here, so I can't leave.
Okay, ADTs here. He can't leave. Come on, man, Brown.
So you pretty much answered the question, but I was just going to ask about. You said you had 100% retention of your of people you trained in your first year, and I wanted to ask a couple keys, you know, to take away from that.
Yep, that was it. Relationship, personal recruiting, accountability. It's somewhat oversimplified, right? Like, you know, when I came in the business, they were like, okay, 1 out of 3 sits have to be referrals. Okay. I wasn't like, let me try 20%, see what happens. I didn't do that. That's what you tell me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to always be above. I can show you my MGA team before I became an SGA. I had a small MGA team, a big RGA deal. Every week it was like 42% referral sit, 43% referral sits. I mean, I drive the numbers. We have standards. We agree on what those standards are. That's what's got to be hit. And if not, we need to have a conversation as to why it wasn't. So if I train someone, like, what was your name? Wu-Tang?
Matt Brown.
Matt. So Matt, like if I train you and our standard, and I don't know what your guys' standard is for appointments and all that, but let's say that our standard was 30 appointments. First week you go out, you have 28 appointments and you write like $5,000 in production. We're having a conversation about what can we do this week to make up for those 2 that you missed, and you're going to need 32. And it's not that I don't lift them up. I go, man, you did phenomenal. You were way over on the production. You did great on this, blah, blah, blah. The one thing is that you were a little bit short on the appointments. I don't want you to start by being in the habit of being okay, being below standards, because I care about your success. Make sense? So let's talk about what are some of your ideas that this week you can get 32 appointments set to make up for the 2 that you missed last week. And we have a conversation about it. And guess what? People usually, they can come up with their own ideas. They just need you to facilitate the discussion with themselves. Because when you promise that you're going to do it for yourself, it's different than when I tell you.
All right. Thank you, guys. We're gonna cut it off here because I don't want to keep Mike any longer. Good luck with your security system too, man, guys. Mike just got married. He's just built a house. I don't know if they just moved in or they're moving in, but he's building a house right now. And guys, and he has a new baby on the way. So we're gonna have a brand new Vasu in the world
Baby boy.
soon, man.
Boy. Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you, man. Definitely. And I look forward to seeing you in Cancun next week.
Yes,
bro.
sir. I'll see you next week.
Sure. I'll see you next week.
All right. See you, bro.
All right, guys. See ya.
Hey, guys, we have to, I got a couple quick announcements I want to go over with us, but we have to take a quick break because I know you guys get a little restless and stuff. So let's take a 10-minute break and then hop back on here so I can go over a couple quick announcements for our agency and everything. All right? Sound good? All right, thank you. 10-minute break real quick.
So it's a Vincia, they're located in Chicago. They're really good at college recruits and they help them get meaningful careers. So it's basically just a college cowboy.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to get more effective direction of what we've done.
So you want the numbers? You want to find the numbers out. What's the cost? You know, what kind of numbers can they give you? You know, is it just local? Is it just local? Is it is it international? Is it all over the country? That's why when I talk to them people, I just go over numbers really.
Okay.
What can I
This is
get?
the first time I'm doing this.
What can I get for how much money? You know?
Yeah.
How much you want to find out there?
I don't know much about them. That's why I wanted to have like a face-to-face meeting with them. So I put in like 4 or 5 different websites that requested like information on your company before they do anything for you, you know?
Let's move the camera back over there.
You can do that.
I'm gonna just get
Just
more
un-
wires.
just unplug it.
I'm gonna get more wires. And
Thank you. I was gonna ask Jackie, but
Personal recruiting.
we gotta flip the seats around this way to put numbers on the board.
Or.
yeah.
How's that camera look on this board? Not too good, huh? What's it look like? Is it centered? Is it on the board? Is it on?
Cool. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll see what's on. Good job on recruiting it up.
Thanks.
Come on. Speaking of personal recruiting. Yeah, we need to get personal recruiting.
I have my friend Morgan watching it, my friend Leah watching it. I texted them yesterday. And then I had to go to Office Max yesterday, so I tried. I hope you there too.
Yeah, that would get perfect.
A little bit up?
Yeah, you go a little bit
I
higher.
need 10 people, please.
10 people in there.
10 people, please.
Yeah. How's that? Better?
Like turn it a little bit.
That way?
Yeah, keep on that way. A little bit more.
Cool. So yeah, we could go on that side now. Just swing your chair around the other side of the table there, Pat. You know what I mean?
Tang in the morning.
Yeah, there you go.
I just moved it so people can walk.
What we did, turn it around.
Yeah, just turn around and use that table and then.
Oh, well, the camera, I didn't want to no, the camera.
And then on the front table, we gotta sit up in the front where Casey's at. Go up there, use those 2 chairs up there.
We're gonna move the big room for these meetings.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're gonna need to get, or we could turn this whole section into another thing, or.
Do you have that breaking?
Yes, yeah, if you could bring that over, thank you.
Oh, it's okay.
Might as well just come to your house.
And also that piece over there, Case, for the microphone, is it behind you or somewhere?
Ow, my legs.
Did you like that?
I did leg day yesterday.
Where'd it be?
Dude, I felt nasty. I didn't go run this morning.
Why not?
Unfortunately, I woke up late.
Has it been easier since you started?
Yeah.
But the first time you went.
That first one you go on sucks.
Dude, yesterday I had a bar on my back with 45s on, and then I had a rubber band around my knees, and I was going up.
Keep it warm, yeah.
No, but I was doing lunges, and I was going up the steps every 3 steps, like, you know, I was doing
I'm in the back of the bus.
like training for the Olympics. My legs hurt, my groin hurts. I started doing that machine where you're like,
You used to train like in football at like a very elite level, right?
yeah.
And then after that, after that, I'm sure when you like stop doing it at elite level, you're like,
All right. Hey, is this microphone better? Okay. So like I said, we're gonna do 9:10. 9:10. It's 9:08. We'll give it another 2 minutes. What's that?
Running some routes on the beach with football.
Oh yeah, dude. Somebody got to bring a football. Yeah.
We could take some pens, dude. This isn't a trip. I still got the data. Tommy, you can still do a nice baseball out there. This is my favorite plant. Quick plant. I told you.
The key is breaking. You got to break the. You got to break the cushion, man. You got to break the cushion.
Big jab. Everyone just wants to run straight and hurry up.
Oh no, you got to get them and then. Yes. Just if you guys see the top of this, let me know. I just lost it again. Keep losing that thing. Is it 9:10 yet? No, 9:09. Okay. 9:09. 9:09. Okay, so it is 9:09. Do we have everybody in here? Okay, everybody's back on the call, it looks like too, so might as well just get it going. Get it going.
It should spit it out really, really quick though. You had to wash it. But there's water in there. It's heated. It's ready to go.
All right. All right. So here's what I got to go over for us. Is the income. I wanted to go over the income. We had some people make some good income this week, and definitely wanted to go over with you guys how that happened, how the income happened, so you know where this money's coming from and what it's going to be next year. Let's see here. The Labor Advisory Board. Is anybody familiar with the Labor Advisory Board? We just met with this SGA meeting on Tuesday, and they had the PR team jump on and go over. They've been rebranding the company because, you know, one thing that we want to do is separate ourselves, distinguish ourselves, differentiate ourselves from everyone out there. Because somebody like said to me, you know, one time, like, this is like an MLM. And I remember what I said to this person today. I forgot what I told this person. And then today I just remembered it as I was driving to work. Okay, so I want to tell you guys what it was. I was like,
I was like, no. He said, this is like this is like an MLM, isn't it? I was like, no, it's not. In fact, there's nothing like this on planet Earth. So you can't compare this to anything, man. So don't try and compare this to any company you've ever seen or anything you've ever heard of or thought about before, because there's nothing like this that ever exists on planet Earth. And I promise you, and I didn't tell them to this, but I'm thinking, I promise you guys, there's nothing else that can come around and ever exist like this ever again. This is a one-time deal. It's the only thing on earth that is like this. Often imitated, but never duplicated, right? So anyways, I just wanted to go over that with you. But the Labor Advisory Board has 50 of the top international union presidents to sit on this thing. Okay, so when you sit down in the homes and you go over this with your clients, it's something we can pull up on the screen and show them. Even in the recruiting process or whatever, you can show them in a third interview. I might even put it into the group maybe, just to touch on our branding. Some of those people that sit on the board, we have the AFL-CIO president, secretary, vice president, the North American building tradesman, the president of the whole North American building trades. There's 50 leaders in labor. The Screen Actors Guild. You guys know what that is? SAG, right? So that the people who work behind the scenes and build the stages and put the lighting up and all that, those are people that we work with. The UFCW, which are essential workers. We protect and serve the essential workers. The president of the NFLPA, the president of the National, what is that? The National Football League? Is that what NFL stands for? The National NFL. What's NFL stand for? National Football League Players Association. The president sits on our board, right? So just so you guys know, the Cecil Roberts, head of the, he's the president of the mine workers. The whole mine workers, every mine worker in America. The president of the mine workers sits on our board. So just to give you guys, I thought that was pretty cool. And to remind that I knew this from day one. But we used to walk around with pitch books. So when I would go up to somebody's home, okay, I would show up to their home with a bag on my shoulder, okay? And in the bag was my pitch book, okay? And it was an accordion file of all the, what are those things addendums, right? Like, hey, you have cancer or you have albuterol, right? You got to do the breathing. What do you got? What do you got for that? You got asthma. You got to fill out what? The respiratory questionnaire. I had a stack of them in there when I went in every single home. I had to carry them all around me, but we had these pitch books. So I'd be like, so we're with American Income Life. Okay, we have a labor advisory board, and I would have to sit there and show them pictures. Oh, look what just came out of my thing. I'm part of the union. Just literally just came out, and it would sit right in my thing. I would show them all that stuff, What is this? This is my new one too, 2021. See, never leave home without that thing, right? Put it back in there. So the point of it is we used to use this to differentiate ourselves in the home with the clients too. So let me see here. Anything else from that? Next week we're going to be gone. So this is the opportunity for people to step up. On a leadership side, if you're in leadership and you're going to be gone, this is going to be a sign for you to see how well your team can ride when you're not here. If you are here, right, this is your chance while we're gone to see what happens. Does everybody go play, right? Or do people rise up? They say next man up, right? Well, this is the opportunity to see who's the next person, who the next man, who the next woman is going to be, who's the next person going to step up. So this is opportunity on both ends. On the leadership side to see how well we've done in leadership, how well Gio has done in leadership, and Vince and you guys that are leaving, and Hansberger, if you're Mike, if you're going to be gone, how well your people are going to do when you're not here, right? And a lot of that stuff is not going to happen next week. It's going to happen today in the planning that you do, and the tone that you set, the expectations that you set for yourself and for your team, and the planning and preparation that you put in while convention's going on. Okay, we still need to produce. We need $85,000 a week this month, guys. It's not an easy task by any means. That's going to take a well-oiled machine, and literally everybody at their tippy top shape this month. It's going to take it. It's what it's going to take. But that's what we're up against. So On the hire side, we need to continue to still get hires next week. We can't drop hires and get no hires because Geo's in Cancun. So all of a sudden the agency don't get any hires for the week, right? So we got to make sure that we still continue to get that stuff done. All right. So today I'd like to plan. If any of you guys have questions on planning, if Drake, you're planning your week out next week, bring it to me. I'll help you get some stuff done. And here's another thing, guys. Don't think you have to do it all on your own. Like, oh, I'm gone, so now I can't get the job done. No, we have a team. And the thing is you can go from all doing to being all powerful, right? Do you want to be the person that's all doing? I can do it all. In fact, I do it all. But if I don't show up, then nothing happens. You're all doing. You're a one-man band. So if you're not playing the banjo, there's no banjo. Do you want to be a one-man band? Do you want to get somebody else to play the banjo and you can sing lead chorus? I'll get Mason on the lead guitar with his hair going. But that's the point, you know. So anyways, you can go if you try. It's a mentality. That's all it is, Marv. It's just a mentality. It's just a mentality. It's a mentality. It's a mentality. Do you want to be the guy that has to be needed all the time? Everybody needs to go to you, and if you don't show up, then nothing ever happens. Do you want that to be like that? Some people want it to be like that, right? You don't want it to be like that. You want other people to be able to succeed and carry the ball and score touchdowns and handle stuff, right? So you got to be able to think, if I need to get some stuff done, use your resources. Be resourceful, right? And if you don't have resources, create the resources. If I'm like, dude, I got all this shit I got to get done. There's no way I can get it done. Well, then you know what you do? You say, like, for instance, Gio has he's like, I got to book thirds. I got to run the thirds. I got to set appointments, right? I got to do part Bs. I got to do script reviews. You know what I'm saying? Plus I got to eat, right? So unless he starts to become resourceful, I got to do it all on my own. If Gio has to do all that on his own, he ain't going to get it all done, and something's going to happen where we're going to drop the ball. And because of his poor leadership, because he's not recognizing he can't be all doing, he has to become all powerful. If he could become all powerful, here's what he does. He says, all right, well, I need to get the appointments done. Boom, I'm going to hire an appointment setter. We need to get thirds set. Melissa, will you help me set these thirds? I need to do some thirds. I can't do them all. Mr. Vina, Tommy, hey, let's get your dad. Mr. Vina, can you do the thirds for me? Okay, great. I got to do a part B. Austin, can you do the part Bs? Boom. Now, boom, I got it all done, but I didn't have to do it all. All of us are thinking of, I can't do it. It can't get done. We got to be all powerful and be able to delegate some stuff out, but it's a 3-step process to this. You don't just delegate. It's a 3-step process. First step is develop. You have to develop that person. Then you duplicate yourself into them, and then you delegate it. Develop them to make the phone calls. Then you duplicate your phone calls into them, and then now you can delegate the phone calls to them, right? Gio can't just hire a phone setter and give her a script and tell her to hit the phones, right? He's going to have to hire the phone setter, develop the relationship, right? And then whatever he wants it to be done, the way he sets the appointments, she needs to set them exactly the way he sets them. Then now he just duplicated himself into someone else, and now he can therefore delegate that task. His opportunity can grow, and all the people that he's in charge of leading are not being slowed down or held back because of, I don't know, stuff not getting done this week and it's getting done next week, and now we're a whole week behind on Mason's career because Casey's taking forever to get shit done. Hunsberger's taking forever to get shit done. Should have been done last week, but now it's getting done next week. And now Pat Sullivan's career is a whole week behind. And he don't got time for that shit. You guys feel me? Yes. So that's what I want you guys to do, is just be more resourceful, okay? I'm telling you, it'll help, okay? So anyways, game plan for next week. That's part of the game plan for next week. We have to get the hires. We still got to get the ALP, and I need the leadership. That's where opportunity for the leadership, everybody to step up. I'll tell you what, at the SGA meeting, the CEO got on the call, and he said, you know, first of all, meet with everybody going to convention and make sure they know no riffraff, okay? And I'll meet with everybody. In fact, everybody just hang out for literally 2 minutes, and I'll tell you what the CEO said, and then I'll what's that? That's what he said. Yes, the CEO one time he said some people actually go to convention with a job, and then they leave convention without a job. So I thought that was pretty funny, right? That you go to convention, literally act up, Mason, you better behave yourself, man. So, but anyways, yeah, I'll huddle with you guys real quick. I don't want to hold everybody who's not going to convention, but I'll go over what the CEO said. It's literally two minutes of just stuff to know and protocol and stuff like that. So that's all good. That's all good. So let's go into the numbers and we'll get out of here, guys. So check this out. We had some amazing income this past week. And I think it's people just don't understand like where it all comes from. Like, where's it all come from, right? So for instance, Gio's team did 42,000. Gio did 12,000. Vince's team did 55,000. We'll call it 54 and some change, right, Vince?
Only 46 loaded. We did closer to 50.
Oh, Gio's team did 50. Okay. Okay. Gio's team did 50. And then Vince's team did 45. 46. Okay. All right. So check it out. How much money did Gio make just off of his MGA team, guys?
About 15%.
So the easiest way to think about it is just 15%. It's just 15%. Okay. So let's just say 15% of 50 grand. $7,500. Okay. Now let's figure it out for real though, without just going for my word on it. Let me prove to you guys what this number is. Okay. So Gio is sitting at a 75%. The GA is at 67.5. So what's his override? He makes 7.5% override on it. So what's 7.5% times that? Yeah. 7.5% times 50 is 3750. All right. So 3750 is how much money he made in his what? Commission. That's real money. He just made 3750, right? Right? Okay. On top of this, he's going to get a renewal of 2%. So what's 2% of 50 grand? $1,000. And he's going to get that $1,000 every single year now. Talk about building a base salary. In one single week, he just built a base salary for his life for $1,000 a year. He's going to get $1,000 in renewal commissions every single year. Let's say that's for 20 years. So there's 20K. And then on top of that, his team earned bonuses for the week. If the average bonus on your team is 10%, which is usually higher, okay, check Christina's bonus this week and see what percentage she got paid compared to her ALP. I guarantee is higher than 10%. Right? Whatever his team gets in a bonus, he gets in a bonus. So what's her bonus? Well, what's the team's bonus? Let's say the team bonus is at 10%. Everybody 10%, which is low, should be higher. 10%. So what's 10% of 50 grand? $5,000, right? Now, MGA right now gets 85% of that, unless they're directly coded to you and stuff like that. So let's go on low ball. I would rather go to the low end of things. What's 85%, which should be higher? 85% of 5 grand. 4250. 4250, guys. So what's 4250 equal? MGA bonus. So he made 4250, right? 4250 plus he made what? 3750. How much is that? How much is that? It's $8,000 on the nose. It's $8,000 up front, plus how much in the back end? 20,000. What's that? 28,000? Not crazy?
Is that including his personal?
No. We're not going into personal. So let's go just on Gio on his MGA team, writing 50 grand for the week. Okay. Up front this week, he made 3,700. No, I'm sorry, not up front. Not up front. We got to figure out what he made this week. So is that correct? Yeah. 7.5% is his commission, guys. 7.5% is his commission. 7.5% is the commission. So you got to take 65% of that to see what he made up front, right? So what's 65% of 3,750? Is it 25? 2437. Okay, so we got to take 2437, and that's what you made up front for the week. That's what was made up front for the week. This was end up being $6,600 and what? $87. Okay. $6,687. That's what he made up front off the team. Now, we know total income though is basically this 8,000 plus the 28,000. So there's 28,000 being made off of that. All right. So up front though, number one, this is what Gio made for the week. You guys see the money right there? Does this make sense? Right? Okay. Next. He wrote, let's keep the he wrote off for a minute. Vince did 46,000, right? So Vince is at 75 and Gio's at 80, right? So what does Gio get on Vince's team? 5%. So 5% of 46 grand is $2,300. 2,300. 2,300. Now you take 65% of that. It's probably what? 1,500. About 1,500. So 1,500. So this week, up front, you sure? Is this right? Is all this right? Right. So 5% of 46 is 23. You guys with me? So this is what he makes in commissions. Upfront commissions 1,500, and then Vince, what is your bonus now? What is Vince's bonus? Well, no. Yeah. What's Vince's bonus, guys? So 46,000. The MGA gets whatever the team gets in a bonus, 85%, right? Right. So if the team gets a bonus off of 45 grand or 46 grand, what's the team bonus? What's your team? About 10%. There you go. Right, got it, guys. The answer is 10%. If you're an MGA, everybody on your team, some people are going to bonus at 15, 16, 18%. Some of them are going to bonus at 8%. The average bonus on an MGA team is usually higher than 10%. So if your team does 46 grand for the week, then your team probably bonused at 4,600 for the week.
I don't even think there is an 8% bracket. No, 10, 12, 15,
Yeah.
16.
But you could still bonus at 8% for a month.
Average, yeah, from MGA perspective.
It's just an agent can average 8%.
I see.
So anyways, 46,000 would give an MGA team bonus of what? 4,600. 4,600. Got it?
85% of that's 39.
Okay, there we go. That's it.
3,910.
So the bonus that the team would get would be 4,600. The MGA gets 85% of that, which is what?
$3,910.
$3,910. We'll call it 3,900. Okay. Whatever the MGA gets in a bonus, what does the RGA get in a bonus? Anybody know?
Well, he gets 100% because he has two MGAs, right?
He has one MGA. You're the only one.
They don't count you on. So 90%.
Yeah. So whatever the MGA gets in a bonus, the RGA gets pretty much the same thing. It varies a little bit like this. So if Gio is a RGA, okay, and he has one MGA, he's going to get 90% of that MGA's bonus every single week. So every time Vince gets a bonus, Gio gets 90% of that. Right? If he has two MGAs, he's going to get 95%. If he has three MGAs, he's going to get what? 100. Four MGAs, they're going to give him more bonus than Vince gets, 100 and 105. And you have five MGAs, your MGA is going to get a bonus, you're going to get 110% of their bonus. So imagine when Gio has five MGAs, okay, and all five of his MGAs are getting $3,900 bonuses a week. And he's getting 110% of that. No. Here's the thing, though. You didn't catch what I said. Imagine that, which nobody here is doing right now. You're not listening. Come on, you're not being coachable, guys. We're supposed to go. We've got to imagine this. You got to really imagine this. It's too hard for you to imagine right now. It's too big of a number. Come on, let's think about this. You got five MGAs, all getting $3,900 bonus, and you're getting 110% of that. What's that number?
Just under 22. Just under 22. Let's see, 3,900 times 5 is 19 and a half. And if you're getting 110 of that, 21 grand.
So your bonus for the week off just your RGA team will be 21 grand.
Yeah. It's not counting the commission.
Not counting the commission. The commission on that would be 1,500 each for each person as well. Right? So let's go back to Gio's RGA, because this is number 2 on the board here. We're going to put MGA right here as his pay for the week. Now let's go to RGA pay. RGA pay goes like what? RGA pay is first of all, he gets a 5% override, right? Which was 2,300. 65% of that up front is 1,500, right? So he got 1,500 up front, and then Vince's bonus was 3,900. So Gio's bonus will be 3,500. Gio's bonus will be 3,500 because it's 90% of that. So this week Gio made how much? 5,000 for the week. Okay. Now we know the MGA over here, we know that they're making a total of at least 28K. This guy's making 5,000, but if you add up what they're really making, it's 23 plus 35, because his total commission is 2,300 for the year. So what's 23 plus 35? 58 plus the renewals on that, which is 1%. So what's 1% of 46 grand? 460 bucks, 460. So you take 460 times 10, it's 4,600. You take it times another 10, which is what, 92? Yeah, so there's $9,200 in renewal money that he just generated this week, plus the $5,800 that we just figured he'd make in first year, all first year bonuses and commissions paid out. So 58 is what? 15 grand, 15,000. So $15,000. Gio made 28 grand off his MGA team, 15 grand off his RGA team so far. Up front, 6 and 5, plus number 3, he wrote 12 grand in personal production at a 75% level, 7% renewal.
You don't get the 80 when you're an RJ doing personal. You get 75 as an MGA.
I still believe so. Yeah, I don't know. Check your advance on that. We don't know, but let's go off the 75, even though it might even be 80. But I think when I produce, I always produce under the MGA number. I'm pretty sure that's how that had to work. But so anyways, what's 75% of 12 grand? So Gio made $9,000 in first year commissions. They're going to pay him 65% of that up front, which is $5,800. So his commissions off this 1,200 is $5,800 for the week, right? 5,800. Now his bonus, what bonus if you write 12 grand, I don't know, you'd probably be around 10%. Yeah. Well, let's say he get 10% on average. Let's say he had a 10% on average bonus. No, because it's actually would be more though. We know that when you write 12 grand, your bonus is like 13, 14% actually.
Great job, G.
So 840 for the week in personal renewals, plus the, we got to think about this one more time, I'm sorry. The 75% of 12 is 9 grand, right? That's the situation?
Yeah.
So he made 9 grand, plus he made 1,600, plus 840. What's that?
That's the renewals. Oh, it's the total?
Yeah.
Drew's got it. What, and then 840, or 840, and then I have 779. You got 5,800 plus 16 plus 840. Yeah. Is that 11,440? Yeah.
11,440?
Yeah. But I'm not using a calculator, so
He's using 9 grand because that's the total payout. So 9 grand. I'm just confused on what we're plus 1,600 plus 840. Who's got it?
So-
10,684.
So Gio made $9,000 from his writing 12 grand, and he's at a 75% commission, right? Second thing, he got a bonus of 1,600, right? So what's that, 10.6? And then he got another 840 in renewal money for the next 20 years. So times 10 is 8,400, times 20 is 16,800. So what's 16,800 plus 10,600? So 27,400 is the total income that he made for the week for writing $12,000. What percentage of is that?
It's like 200%. 225%.
200 and what?
At least 220. Yeah.
At least 220.
It's about 225%, guys. 225%. Think about that. So if you, just like he was talking about percentages, what's 100%? You got 100% contract. What's 100% of nothing? Nothing, right? So you hear people all the time talk about, oh, but they got this contract over here where you can get 100%. And an AIL, they only give the MGAs 75%. Okay, all right. But also, you got no renewals. There's no bonuses. There's no leadership structure. There is no MGA contract. So if you want to get 100%, sure, you can get 100%, but it's 100% producer contract that you got to go buy your own leads. They don't tell you about you got to buy your own leads. Run all day, right? They could take the 100% all day. Gio got 225% contract. Come run with the winners. For real. We just did the math right there, guys.
And the growth bonus.
Oh, can I go into the growth bonus? Because no, you guys even know what the growth bonus is about. You don't even know what the shit's about. So let's see. Gio, what did he make this week? What did he make this week? Let's add it up. He made 6687 plus 5. That's 11.6 plus 74. That's 12. That's 19. $19,000 upfront income for the week. You just seen it happen in 7 days.
Oh, good. Great.
Come on. Now let's talk about what he really made. 28,000 plus 20. Look, but let's just call it 28,000. What's that? 56,000 plus 9,200.
65,000.
He made $65,000 in one single week.
Why do you say 20 years? Is that like an average?
That's a renewal commission. No, the average should be forever. I'm just saying if it only paid 20 years, I like to go low, you know?
Just
Right?
making sure I had that.
Yeah. Come on, guys. You guys see this shit? Right? Come on. Vince, you probably made some coin this week, bro. What do you guys think Vince made? 46 grand. I mean, plus some of that business was you turned in how much? 4 of it, you know, so you made 2 off of that. And 6, Vince probably made 8 grand. 8 grand for the week at least. Okay, so here's the structure, right? This is the structure. There's Gio, and there's Vince, and then there's Gio. That's the team, right? Gio's the RGA. He got his own MGA team, and Vince got his own MGA team. You can't be looking at the shit like it's impossible. He didn't build a whole massive deal with 100 people yet. We can do this shit right now. And why would we not do that every week? What the hell are we doing this week, guys? He fucking made $20,000 last week, and we're all sitting around like we won a Super Bowl or something. We all just got promoted, and now it's your turn to go get this. Why would you not do this every week? I'm honest. I'll call Gio out right now. Why the fuck wouldn't Gio write $12,000 every week and get 20 hires and command the whole team? Do it before we used to drive around in our cars till 11 o'clock at night, staying in hotel rooms and who knows where, getting bed bugs, cockroaches, and everything else. I had spiders. I had to get new rooms. But I ain't even gonna go on and on. And I can go on and on for that shit, dude. Right now, this is the hate. This is it. You know when you got to get it? When the getting's good, and that's right now. Like right now, dude. You got to get it while the getting's good before this fly right by you. It'll fly right by you. So I'm on it. I think he should make 20 grand every single week from this point forward. You should make 10 grand a week from this point forward. Every single week. I don't see why we wouldn't. What did you do? Wrote 4 grand. You know, your team wrote 46,000, and some people didn't even hit their numbers. Yeah, you all made a shit. We didn't even go into your guys' paychecks. Crazy. So if we could go into the GA, SA agent, and all that, we'll do that next time, right? But I just wanted to show you, like, boom, it's right there. Now, this is the structure. So let's go into next year. Let's go into next year, okay? So we're going to go into 2022, okay? And actually, let's stay in this year. I don't know why we're going to go in the next year because we don't even need to go in the next year. We could just stay here for now, okay? So here's what they're going to do. In 2021, guys, they're going to give Gio, okay, a growth bonus for his MGA team. So when you become an MGA, you get a growth bonus. Okay, when you become an MGA, you get a growth bonus. So they're going to compare what he did last year in this second quarter, since he's been an MGA for a full year. You have to be an MGA for a full year, right? So this is the goal. Everybody here, here's the goal. My goal, my vision is to have 20 MGAs going into 2021. 2022. My goal is to have 20 MGAs going into 2022. We have the people here. It doesn't take that long to happen. Took me 8 months to become an MGA, and I was doing it by myself with no help and not even close to the situation that you guys have the opportunity for. I think it will be a damn shame if we don't make that happen. If Pat can't be an SGA, an MGA in 8 months, I don't know. He didn't do the work. I didn't do the work. Gio didn't do the work. Vince didn't do the work. Somewhere we dropped the ball along the way if we don't make that shit happen, because it is here, it is now, and the opportunity is here. Because last year, none of this shit existed, and a year later, Gio's making $20,000 in a week. Where does that happen? You know what I mean? I could cry. Like, where could this even happen? We're very blessed, very, very blessed. You know what I mean? And I never forget that. I keep the appreciation at the front, but let's keep it on this for a minute. Okay, so check this out now. So whatever their team did in the first quarter second quarter of last year, since he's been at MGA for a full year now, they're going to compare that number. So Gio, what did you do in the second quarter last year?
I have it written down at the office or in my office, but is it like 38 or something? In combined, it was like
180, right? 180. So guys, let's write it on the board. We got Q2, Q3, Q4. Last year he did like 180 in this quarter. What'd you do this quarter? Pretty close to the same. It was like 200, and then the fourth quarter you had the big month. 280 or something, right? We'll call it 280. So this is what he did last year. So now they take, what did your team do this year? Okay, but guys, not just his MGA team numbers are going against this. It's going to be his MGA team numbers this year, plus any other MGAs that he promoted this year get added into his numbers. So Gio's team is basically his numbers plus Vince's numbers. Okay, so we do this now. And what did you guys do in April? What you guys do last month? You did 100. You did 100. You did 180, or you did 80, right? So you guys did about 180 last month, right? This month, you guys are shooting for what?
Our goal is
150 each. So the goal is 300, guys. So they did 180, 300, and then the following month, I actually think we dialed it back just a little bit for you guys because it's a 4-week month, and maybe your total number that month was what? You remember? Was it 260 or something? I don't remember what the number was exactly, guys, but I think they're going for 260. So you did 180, we do 300, we do 260 in these 3 months. What's that add up to? That's 340, that's 440, that's 740, okay? So Gio does 740 in the second quarter. What did he do in the second quarter last year? You minus the 180, which is 560. So Gio's growth for the second quarter is what? 560,000, okay? This is what the company pays the MGAs every single year. As long as you do what? Grow. You get paid on growth.
So is he only going to get the MJ bonus off of us because we're newly promoted this year, or will he get it every single year?
So it'll count for the full 1 year. 1 year. You get 1 year for it to count for. Full 1 year.
It's 5%?
No, the MGA growth bonus is 15%. 15%, guys. They give the MGA 15% at the end of the quarter of whatever you grew by. That's $84,000. Times this by 15%, guys. That's $84,000. Okay. Now, what they also do for the MGA when they grow is if you had more, like last year in the second quarter, Gio coded 10 people, let's say, right? Well, if he can grow that this year, and they measure by keepers now. So if they look at how many people did he have start, and then how many people out of them people that started wrote 5K in a month. And for your first 6 months, you can count as a keeper. So Gio can bring somebody in, and in their first 6 months, if they submit 5,000 every month, they'll count you a keeper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And if he has a certain amount of keepers based upon last year's codes, it's a ratio, but I think his number might be like 4 or 5. Okay. Then once you hit that number, every one that you get over that, you get a bonus kicker. Okay. So basically they just look at how many people you brought in last year, how many people you brought in this year. And if you have a larger amount this year than last year, then for the first person that you go over this number, they give him a 5% kicker on this number. The second person goes 10. Third person goes 15. Fourth person goes 25. Fifth person goes 35. So if he hits it 5 people, times this by 35%, and he'll get that on top of that. So what's 35% of 84 grand?
It's like
29,000, and then take 29,000 plus 84,000. 113,000 would be the total bonus, quarterly bonus paid to Geo. Now, do you guys know when they pay that to him? Do they pay that to him in 12 monthly installments, 2 monthly installments? Do they pay that to you in pennies? Do they, do they pay that to you in Dogecoin? Huh?
I'll take those.
all you crypto guys. No, so guys, they pay that to Geo in one lump sum payment. One day he's going to wake up and you're going to see $113,000 deposit into your bank account, and it's going to be one of those days in July, right?
What we doing in July?
This doesn't power you up. I don't know what will go for.
That's this year. That's in like 2 months. That's in 2 months. So you guys thought Geo making 64 in a week was cool, right? Oh, and then we'll make sure whatever week that is, we'll have a big week so that he makes like another 20 or 30 grand, you know? So we could just call it 150, right? Why don't we go make like 33, 37 on top of that, make it just, right? So that's the whole goal, guys, is this is crazy stuff, isn't it? American Income does this all around the globe, all around the country, every single week. I was at Emerson Gonzalez's house. I was like, bro, it was Thursday. I was like, do you realize how much money the company is going to be depositing into people's bank accounts tonight and tomorrow morning? Every single week, they just literally send millions of dollars out to all kind of people all over the place. It's insane. It's insane. You know?
Does anyone have any questions on this stuff?
Yeah, you guys got questions? Is this making sense? It's pretty straightforward, you know, you guys. So this is just this quarter, right? And then in the second quarter, I put it up here to show you guys, you know, because the growth is going to be more. If you did 740 this quarter, you're going to do 900 the next quarter. You're going to do $1.5 million in the last quarter of the year, right? So these numbers are obviously going to grow. That's why I'm saying Geo from this point out should be getting $100,000 quarterly MGA bonuses for the rest of this year. For the rest of this year. Okay, now, Vince, let's see what Vince happened. Vince, when did you become an MGA?
January, technically.
Right?
They prorated it for me, which is good.
Yeah. So, he was an MGA in January. So for him, he has to be an MGA for a full year. So this is going to trigger for Vince next year. So you're going to have 4 quarters next year to be able to take advantage of this. This will be though, if you have 3, 2, whatever, however many, you promote Reich, you promote Hunsberger, right? And their MGAs, whatever their numbers do, plus whatever your numbers are, all get added in together for your bonuses. So Vince should be cashing in next year. Same shit Geo's cashing in this year, right? That's what it's all about. I looked at Josh's. Josh should have a good $30,000 MGA quarterly bonus at the end of this second quarter. Guy's got to have his back on that and drive this production, you know, and I'm on him all day. I'm like, dude, and I tell him, like, how about if Geo writes any personal production, he's going to get an extra 15% on all that now too. Think about it. Every penny that he writes, he's in the extra 15% on his personal production, you know? Think about that, right? So anyways, I wanted to share this with you guys, okay? Because we have a lot of new people that are promoted, right? And we have some people that have been in leadership for a while. And I don't know, we really went over this and we never got to really have somebody, you know, make 20,000 in a week for us to actually break it down and show you where the money actually comes from. But you see it right there, and we kind of even lowball some of those numbers too. So we good? Is that good? I'm sorry we spent a little bit extra time this morning. Was that okay? Good usage of our time?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So just to end for today, because we got to get going. We're not where we need to be for this week for sure. We started out very, very slow. We're going to definitely have to pick it up, you know. And today I'd recommend to definitely do some coaching on your team. If somebody blanked for the first 2 days, and if it was yourself, then get some coaching yourself. If you blank for 2 days, there's two things. They either didn't get enough sits or they got the sit downs and they didn't get the sales, right? So we got to dive in, figure out what those are, and make sure we fix them going into the weekend, because it's not going to fix itself. Like, it's not going to fix itself. So we have to follow that system every Monday. And then Monday is going to come around, guys, and somebody's going to blank over the weekend on your team, and you're going to have to help them figure it out. What's going on, man? Did we not get the sit downs over the weekend? What happened here? You know, sometimes I met with people, the reason they didn't get the sit downs was lack of organization. Like, the person was completely disorganized. And I go out to their car's a mess, right? And I was like, dude, we got to clean this up. You're not even, so that wasn't even a technical thing. Their phone calls weren't even that bad. Presentation wasn't even that bad. They were just dysfunctional because they were disorganized. So you got to really dive in and find out what's going on with some people. But, you know, if they're not getting the sit downs, why are they not getting the sit downs? Is it a skill issue or is it a will issue? Right? Either they really didn't want it that bad, so they didn't really put the effort in to make those phone calls, right? Or it's a skill issue. Their phone calls weren't the best. The solidification wasn't good. Their Calendly isn't professional, you know, all that kind of stuff. The follow-up wasn't there. They showed up late to 3 of their appointments. That's why their show ratio was bad. You hopped on a call for a 3 o'clock at 3:15, bro. You know, like, that's some shit that's going on. I know for a fact it's happening. We think that it's cool. We got to be on there early. But dive into that. Why didn't they get the sit downs? But if they did get the sit downs, I'm like, dude, I would feel bad. Dude, I would feel absolutely horrible if Marissa gave 3 presentations a day for the last 2 days and didn't sell one of them. Like, I'd feel bad for my girl. Don't you feel bad? That's your girl. That's your person, man. You should have your heart like that. Should be like, oh my God, that's got to be. I feel bad because she said, I know for a fact she's saying the wrong shit, and that's just bad. I feel bad for her. I'm like, oh, poor girl. She's out there saying the wrong shit. Damn, I feel bad for her. You know what I mean? So get in there and find out what it is so she don't keep doing that, you know, and feel defeated by the end of the week. Cole, that's one of the most basic and best coaching tips I can give for training somebody, okay, is having that periodic check-in every Monday, every Thursday. If you can't be on it every day, of course, have your hand on that pulse, man. If they blank for a day and got 6 sit downs in a day, 3 sit downs in a day, try and dive in and see if it's just numbers or what it is. But yeah, so we're in a numbers driven business. So you got to know the numbers. That's just what it is. That's what it is. That's just nothing we can do. I can't avoid it. You know, I'd love to just sit here and talk about fluff and all that all day, but there's numbers involved, and that's how we keep score, you know? And then somebody said, well, I don't really care about money. Okay. I mean, let's be real, guys. Let's just honestly be real. Okay. This is for real. I'm not, this is what it is, what it is. I'm not, if you do not care about money, then why are you working in a career where you earn money? Then you're lying to me. You can't say you work. If you don't care about money, then you literally should be working in a nonprofit, right? That just doesn't make sense to me. So if anybody comes in here and says they don't care about money, just check to make sure they know what they're saying. Okay? Because when I came into this business, I didn't care about money either. But I did. So I came into the business. If I didn't care about money, I'd be with Mother Teresa over in Africa building wells. I would. 100%. 100%. 100%. So I told my boss, I don't care about money. All I want to do is just do a really good job for my clients. I just want to be the best. And if I do the best I can, I know the money's going to come. So my boss, he said, listen, that's good. That makes sense that you know, I understand where you're coming from, but you got to care about money. I was in his Mercedes-Benz. We were going on Ash Wednesday to get our ashes put on our head. I swear. Right. And on the way back, I was like, man, I was feeling good. Just glad the ashes, you know? And I was like, you know what, Todd? I was like, man, you know, I don't even care about the money right now. I just want to do a really good job because I know if I do a really good job, the money's going to take care of itself. He's like, that's good, man, but you still need to care about money. And basically he told me, he said, if you're broke and unsuccessful, then you're not even going to be in a business 2 years from now, and then you're not going to be able to help anybody. I was like, oh, Okay, all right, makes sense. So anyway, I just want to touch on that real quick, guys. All right, thank you guys for your time. Let's get it, guys. I appreciate you.